The Clextra inventory code is a 12-character code. The 12-character code is broken up into three parts, 4, 4, and 4 typically. Now, this code is important. It's useful because if you get this design correct, this 444 system, it'll help in several ways subsequently. It can integrate much more effectively with across the platform. We do have a running serial number inside, so to that extent, it won't become a big error if you don't get this right. There is a running serial number, so you even if you don't get this very well, it might not affect you. But if you design this and spend some time and get this correct, it's going to bring in a whole lot of features in Clextra that will be very useful to you. Now, both have to be unique. Obviously, the running number, which is internal to the internal to Clextra, will be a unique number. This should also be unique, and if you have duplicates, there are methods to check that and get that sorted out. So what we call is that these four by four allows us to dimension this almost like a three-dimensional way of defining this inventory. So you can see what happens. So I can break this first four into one set, this next four into one set, and then the next four into another set. So this helps the inventory coding uh, in various ways. So broadly, the first four characters should be the model or a group at the larger level, finished product. Perhaps the first four characters should be the brand, product line or production of whatever it is that it's the bulk thing, the larger thing. More from a marketing, preferably we like to number that on a marketing side where you're trying to sell that the first four characters that becomes the code and products that you're selling. The last four characters are components, parts. Okay, that means parts which go into the middle four. The middle four are the assemblies or modules or sub parts of the larger product. So broadly, that's the way we divide that. The first four characters are the large marketing, outward facing, customer facing four character numbers. The middle four are the assemblies and modules within that product. And the last four characters are parts and components which go into that. It's not that simple because there would be an overlap. Many parts and components fit into various different things. So in which case we zero pad this. The first character is always one, but we zero pad the rest of it. So as you get more familiar with it, you'll understand how this works. Now, even as you create a character, this allows you to position. There are these are the positions. 12 positions are there, and it will allow you to select the position of each of these characters and define. So this is one way of defining, starting a new product ID. Another way of starting a product ID is being able to add the four immediately. So in this case, as I said, it's a model, an assembly, and a part. So you could define four characters, create a number, and then start managing the inventory. Internally, it has, like I said, you could look at duplication. If there's any duplication later, you can find that out. You can decode all these things. Then you can look at using stocks. So there's a lot of options available from the code system, but here's typically how it works. So the 444 characters. Now, also this product ID that we use, we call it prod ID. This maps back into, let's say you have an existing platform, existing software. You could use a product ID from your existing, which we call a legacy ID. This can map backward and forward into supply chains and customers. So you could have customer codes, up to 10 customer codes, and you could have up to 10 supplier codes. If you have multiple vendors for this, their part number codes can also be added. These are called extensions to the code. So after you've understood the 12 character code, you can get into areas where look at one of these codes and see how we can. Uh, so, so let's look at the master codes and okay. So let me get into one code, one of these codes. So here we have the codes. So I'm only concentrating on the code part of it. So this is the 12 character code. You can change it, as I said, because there's an internal number there, but ideally you should never change this once you've established it. These are the edit master extensions. So you could have multiple customers. So it supports up to, I think nine customer codes and 9 supplier codes. So the same ID here, so we can, this is part of the master data management. So you have a single ID here, but then you could have a different supplier, and when you're billing a customer and if the customer wants their product ID, you'll be able to pick it up from here. Rates and other things are also added, but right now this video is focusing only on the code. And you could also have further codes. This product could have a HSN 2-digit code, a HSN 4-digit, HSN 8-digit code for India. It could have a GST rate slab, whether it falls into the 5 bracket, 12 bracket. You can override it later. So these are all linked to that. You can also add your United States UN SPC code to this, so it can have an UN SPC code also mapped to this. So once you have the fulcrum, the crux is the Clextra ID, the 8-character prod ID, because once you anchor this, then there's a lot of features and capability around this. So getting this right is important. So there are various, in a separate video, I'll go into what are the options which we can do with this. But understanding this dimensions, this 4-character code is critical. So just to repeat that, so here, for example, let's say there's an electronics manufacturer. The first 4 characters show different products being managed. Let's say a refrigerator. Under refrigerator, you would have mid-segment, standard, so these may be the assemblies of a refrigerator, and then you'll have parts under that. So this is the way you break up a 444 character, which we call the prodid or the inventory code. And it's very important you get this right, so we can help you before you get started. And once you get started, it's not that easy to change. Of course, you can change anything, but it's better to get this right. And if you get this right, then what you get out of Clextra will be substantially superior to anything without it. So please check with us and we'll help you with defining anything to do with your inventory, consignment, any products, whether it's manufacturing or trading. We'll help you with this 12-character inventory code called the prodid code.